Imagine, tomorrow you wake up and all electronic devices are dead. Your phone won't turn on. The car won't start. The entire country's power grid is down. This is not just a power outage. This is an electromagnetic pulse attack, and life as you knew it ended in mere milliseconds. Most people will panic, but what if I tell you that you have items at home that will still work flawlessly? Simple everyday items, each costing less than $20, but which can become crucial when everything else fails. Today, I will tell you about 11 inexpensive items that are not afraid of electromagnetic pulses. These things are so simple that most people overlook them, but they can save your life when the power grid goes down for good. Let's begin, because knowledge of these subjects could become your most important 30 minutes of the entire year. The first item is mechanical can openers and basic kitchen tools. Your electric can opener will become a useless burden after the electromagnetic pulse, but a simple mechanical opener for $8 will open any can in your supply. And here is what most people never consider. This mechanical can opener can be the difference between food and hunger when stores are closed indefinitely. Let's talk about what is truly needed for a kitchen fully protected from electromagnetic pulses. A sharp knife for $15 replaces 10 electric appliances. It slices, chops, dices, and breaks without the need for electricity. Add a cutting board for $12, and you will have food preparation options that rival any modern kitchen. A mechanical whisk for $6 beats eggs, mixes dough, and combines ingredients as effectively as electric mixers. Hand-cranked egg beaters found in thrift stores for $3 to $5 can whip cream and mix heavy doughs, which would be difficult for electric appliances. Wooden spoons and spatulas never break, require no batteries, and withstand high temperatures that would melt plastic utensils. A mortar and pestle, available for $15 to $20. Grind spices, make pastes, and process ingredients in ways no food processor can match. But here's where it gets interesting. During Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, families survived for months using only mechanical kitchen tools. While others waited for the restoration of electricity, which took almost a year in some areas, these families prepared full meals, maintaining health and nutrition with simple tools that never let them down. Think about your dependence on modern kitchen appliances. Your coffee maker, blender, food processor, microwave, electric stove, garbage disposal, all will be dead after an electromagnetic pulse. But for every function, there are mechanical alternatives that often work even better than electric versions once you master the right techniques. A manual coffee grinder produces higher quality coffee than electric models because it doesn't heat the beans during grinding. Mechanical pasta machines create fresh pasta, the taste of which greatly surpasses dried store versions. Manual meat grinders process fresh meat much more safely than electric models, as you control the speed and pressure. The psychological benefits are also significant. The ability to cook hot and delicious dishes supports the family's morale and creates a sense of normalcy when everything around seems chaotic and uncertain. The second important point is matches that can be lit anywhere and kindling materials. Fire is literally life. This includes cooking, warmth, light, water purification, signaling, pest control, and psychological comfort, all combined in one ancient technology that cannot be affected by an electromagnetic pulse. But here is the harsh reality. Most people today do not know how to reliably start and maintain a fire. We turn on switches for heating, turn knobs for cooking, and press buttons for everything related to fire. When an electromagnetic pulse destroys everything, the ability to start a fire becomes a survival skill that separates the prepared from the desperate. Matches that can be lit anywhere are the gold standard for anti-electromagnetic ignition. Unlike regular matches that require special surfaces to ignite, these matches can catch fire on any rough surface: stones, concrete, metal, even a fingernail in emergencies. A box costs between $3 to $4 and contains 300 to 400 matches. These are potentially 300 to 400 ignitions for the price of a cup of coffee. But matches are just the beginning. Waterproof matches, packed in special containers, work even after being submerged in water. Magnesium fire starters create sparks hot enough to ignite materials even in poor conditions. The starter cubes, made from compressed wood shavings and wax, burn hot and long to ignite wet wood that would otherwise be impossible to light. Here is a scenario that should alarm you. The third day after the electromagnetic pulse, the street temperature has dropped to 35 degrees. It has been raining for 18 hours, and your family is freezing, hungry, and starting to lose hope. Your neighbors huddled in their dark, cold homes, burning furniture and metal pots, hoping someone would come to help. But you step outside with waterproof matches, fire starters, and some dry kindling you stored months ago. In 20 minutes, a warming fire is already burning, and over the even flames, hot soup is being prepared. Your family gathers around the fire, feeling warmth and fullness while you plan the next day's tasks. This is the difference between hope for salvation and control over your situation. Everything begins with having reliable materials for kindling and knowledge of their effective use. A complete fire starting kit should include matches that can be lit anywhere, waterproof containers, waterproof emergency matches, magnesium fire starters, cotton balls with petroleum jelly, which burn for 3 to 5 minutes each, fire starter cubes, a burned cloth or material, and a ferro rod as a backup option. The total cost will be less than $30 for the opportunity to start a fire that will last for several years. But here's the key point that many people overlook. You must practice these skills before they are needed. Can you start a fire from wet wood? Can you do this in the wind and rain? Can you handle a situation when your hands are cold and shaking from stress? If not, having the right materials won't save you. The third point is handheld emergency radios. In disaster conditions, information becomes more valuable than food. Without phones, the internet, and emergency broadcasts, you find yourself in a blind spot in a world that is already dangerous and becoming increasingly unpredictable. But a handheld emergency radio costs between $25 and $35 and provides vital communication capabilities when all other sources of information are silent. Here, there is no need for batteries that can run out and no dependence on the power grid. Only human energy transformed into access to information. When cell towers stop working, and according to the Federal Communications Commission, most of them have backup power for only 8 to 24 hours, radio remains the only reliable source of information for civilians. Consider what you need to know after an electromagnetic pulse. Do the authorities respond? Are safe zones established? Should you evacuate or stay put? Are supplies being distributed? Which areas should be avoided? Without information, every decision becomes a dangerous guess. During Hurricane Ian in 2022, entire communities in Florida were left without cellular service for weeks. However, local radio stations continued to broadcast important information: road closures, food distribution points, rescue operations, weather updates, and safety warnings. People with working radios had access to current information, while others made fatal mistakes due to a lack of knowledge. Modern handheld radios often include multiple functions in one device: radio reception, weather alerts from the National Weather Service, flashlights, phone charging ports, and emergency sirens. A device for $30 solves many survival problems and works endlessly using only human power. But there is another aspect of communication that many overlook: radio stations and walkie-talkies. Simple models without digital functions can survive electromagnetic pulses with proper storage and allow communication with family when cellular networks are unavailable. FRS radios cost between $20 and $40 a pair and work at distances of 2 to 5 miles, depending on the terrain. The advantage of communication lies not only in receiving information. You can coordinate actions with family members, neighbors, and other survivors. You can share information about the situation, resources, and threats in crisis conditions. Organized groups with communication capabilities survive, while isolated individuals struggle alone. Speaking about how to stay informed and organized, I explored complex strategies for preparing for electromagnetic pulses that go beyond simple household items. In fact, there is a detailed protocol covering everything from protecting electronics to long-term community building. It's much deeper than we can discuss today, but I'll mention it later if you're interested in elevating your training to a new level. The fourth point is mechanical water filters and hand pumps. Water is the main priority for survival. You can last 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. And this is the horrifying reality. After an electromagnetic pulse strike, water supply systems in cities fail almost instantly. Why does this happen? Because they are completely dependent on electric pumps, electronic monitoring systems, computerized treatment facilities, and digital control networks. According to estimates by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, over 90% of water purification systems in the country will fail within hours after a serious electromagnetic event. However, simple mechanical solutions completely solve the water issue. Gravity filters, such as ceramic filters, cost between $35 and $60 and remove 99.99% of bacteria, viruses, heavy metals, and chemical contaminants. They do not require electricity, pressure pumps, or electronic components. It is enough to pour questionable water on top and collect clean, safe drinking water from below. These are not primitive systems. They use the same technology as humanitarian organizations around the world in disaster zones. They work in refugee camps, after hurricanes, during famines, and in the process of recovery after wars. If they are suitable for international emergency assistance, they will also be appropriate for your preparation for an electromagnetic pulse. Point number 5. Candles, oil lamps, and handheld lighting systems. Light is not just a convenience. This is psychological safety, protection, and the foundation for maintaining normal routines when everything around seems chaotic. If artificial lighting is removed for several days or weeks, people begin to break psychologically before physically. This is what should alert you. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the average American household experiences only about 6 hours of power outages a year. This means that the vast majority of Americans have never spent more than one night in complete darkness. We are psychologically unprepared for long power outages. However, emergency candles that burn for over 100 hours cost only $4 to $6 each. Oil lamps with adjustable wicks provide reliable and controllable lighting priced between $15 to $25. Add extra lamp oil costing $8 to $10 per quart, and you'll have a week of lighting. LED lanterns with manual charging combine modern efficiency with hand-generated energy. If stored in ferrite cages until an electromagnetic pulse strikes, they will provide bright, directed lighting that is more efficient than candles or oil lamps. A quality hand-cranked flashlight costs between $20 and $35. But what distinguishes sensible preparation from naivety is the discipline in using light. In a post-EMP world where your home may be the only one with light, you can become a target for desperate people who see your lit windows as evidence of supplies and resources. This is why prepared people use blackout curtains, light-colored interior walls for effective light reflection, and strategically placed lighting that provides visibility inside without attracting outside attention. You want to gain psychological and practical benefits from light without safety risks. Different light sources serve different purposes. Candles create ambient lighting and warmth. Oil lamps provide adjustable brightness for various tasks. Hand-cranked LED flashlights provide bright, focused lighting necessary for detailed work. Each has its advantages, so proper preparation for lighting includes several types. The psychological impact of light cannot be overstated. Families with adequate lighting maintain better mental health, make more balanced decisions, and keep normal routines that help children and elderly family members cope with crises. Light is a symbol of hope, and hope is a necessary condition for survival. It also has practical benefits. Cooking becomes safer in good lighting. Repairs and maintenance become possible. Reading and learning can continue. The effectiveness of security monitoring increases. Light extends your productive hours and supports capabilities that darkness eliminates. Point number 6, hand tools and equipment. When society hits the reset button after an electromagnetic pulse, your collection of hand tools becomes more valuable than money. No electric drills, no power saws, no battery-operated equipment. Only the good old hammers, wrenches, handsaws, screwdrivers, and the knowledge of how to use them effectively. Here is a sad statistic. According to recent surveys, more than 60% of adults in the United States under the age of 45 have never used a handsaw or a wrench in their lives. FEMA reports on emergency preparedness warn that basic repair and self-sufficiency skills are disappearing in urban areas. We are not just dependent on technology, we are mechanically helpless. But imagine this situation. The 5th day after an electromagnetic pulse, a pipe bursts in your basement, flooding the foundation. There will be no carpenters, no instructional videos on YouTube. Your neighbors helplessly watch as their homes crumble because they can't perform the simplest repairs. You take your hand tools and solve the problem in under an hour. Основной набор ручных инструментов включает молоток с зазубринами стоимостью от $12 до $15, набор регулировочных ключей стоимостью от $15 до $20, ручную пилу стоимостью от $10 до $15, набор отверток стоимостью от $8 до $12, набор плоскогубцев стоимостью от $10 до $15, Лом стоимостью от 8 до $12, ручную дрель с битами стоимостью от 15 до $20, уровень стоимостью от 8 до $10 и рулетку стоимостью от 5 до $8. General investments range from $90 to $130 for tools that will last for decades and solve hundreds of problems. But tools are only valuable if you know how to use them. Can you saw a straight line by hand? Can you drive a nail without bending it? Do you know how to measure and cut so that the parts fit together correctly? These skills require practice, and the time to master them is before an emergency arises. Advanced hand tools provide even more possibilities. Hand drill presses for precise holes. Hand saws for cutting metal for working with heavy materials. Drawing knives and hand planes for woodworking. Metal scissors for manufacturing products. Each tool expands your problem-solving abilities, independent of external power sources. Think about all the repair and maintenance tasks in your daily life that currently require electric tools. Fixing loose screws, cutting materials, drilling holes, measuring and marking, freeing stuck items, tightening connections. All this becomes impossible without tools, but quite manageable with basic manual equipment. In conditions of prolonged power outages, a person with tools and skills becomes the most valuable member of the community. While others wait idly for repair services that will not come, you fix, build, and solve problems. It's not just about self-sufficiency. It's about being useful to other survivors. Rural agricultural stores report a shortage of essential hand tools since the end of 2023. With more people recognizing the importance of manual alternatives, the supply chain for simple tools is under strain, leading to rising prices and decreased availability. Getting your set of hand tools now, while supplies are normal and prices are reasonable, is a strategic approach. Point number 7. Bicycles and human-powered transport. After the impact of the electromagnetic pulse wave, the EMP Commission estimates that 90% of cars on the roads of the USA could instantly fail. Modern cars contain more than 50 integrated circuits and microprocessors. When electromagnetic pulses damage these systems, your $40,000 SUV becomes the most expensive paperweight in the world. But bicycles work flawlessly. No schematics, no batteries, no software updates. Just chains, pedals, gears, and human strength. While the roads are filled with dead cars and panicking people, you can navigate obstacles, choose alternative routes, and maintain mobility when others are stuck. This is the reality that should alarm you. According to data from the U.S. Census Bureau, only 12% of Americans regularly use bicycles for transportation. Most bicycles sit in garages, gathering dust with flat tires and rusty chains. When you need transportation the most, your bicycle may become inoperable. But transportation becomes critically important in post-EMP scenarios. Perhaps your child is stuck on the other side of the city when the strike happens. Perhaps you need to reach elderly relatives living 10 miles away, evacuate to a safer place, or search for supplies and resources. Without working cars, these tasks become impossible on foot but manageable by bicycle. Quality does not require expensive equipment. A basic mountain bike costing $150 to $200, when properly maintained, can handle difficult trails and carry significant loads. Add a bicycle trailer or basket for $30 to $50, and you will be able to transport supplies, goods for trade, or even injured family members. Maintenance becomes critically important, as bike shops will not operate normally. You will need spare tires, repair kits, basic tools, chain lubricant, and spare parts stored safely. A complete bike maintenance kit costs between $40 and $60, but will allow your transport to run endlessly. Don't forget to consider alternative human-powered vehicles. Adult tricycles provide stability for elderly family members or the injured. Cargo bicycles can carry enormous loads. Even simple scooters or skateboards offer advantages in mobility compared to walking. But there is also the issue of safety. Bicycles are quiet, which can be an advantage for avoiding detection. They are easy to hide or carry to places where cars cannot go. In dangerous conditions after a catastrophe, low-profile mobility becomes a vital aspect of survival. The key is to prepare transportation in advance. Punctured tires, broken chains, and minor mechanical failures that are mere inconveniences today become serious problems when bike shops are closed and spare parts are unavailable. The next item is mechanical locks and security systems. Safety in emergencies becomes not just desirable, but critically important when law enforcement is overwhelmed or unavailable. In moments of desperation, when people seek resources and familiar social norms collapse, your ability to protect your home and supplies can become crucial. Your smart locks, electronic safes, and security systems with code panels become useless after an electromagnetic pulse. However, mechanical locks that open with keys or combinations work just like they did 100 years ago. Imagine a horrifying scenario. The seventh night of complete darkness has passed. You hear footsteps outside, voices. Someone is checking your doors and windows. You need to access your protective tools, cash reserves, or emergency communication equipment, but your electronic safe is completely shut down. The digital keypad is unresponsive, the fingerprint scanner is malfunctioning, and you are locked out of your security system while potential threats circle around your home. Mechanical safes with combinations or key locks are not subject to energy loss, electromagnetic interference, or electronic failures. Although they are more expensive than digital safes, they reliably function for decades without external dependencies. Traditional door locks, deadbolts, padlocks, and mechanical security systems continue to function regardless of the availability of electricity. A good deadbolt costs between $15 to $25 and provides security that electronic locks simply cannot match in reliability. Window security is also becoming important. Simple sliding locks, protective grills, and mechanical bolts securely protect entry points regardless of alarm systems that won't work anyway. Protective window film costs between $3 to $5 per square foot and prevents easy shattering while remaining invisible from the outside. After Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico in 2017, crime rates surged as normal security systems failed, and law enforcement was overwhelmed with emergency calls. Families that managed to survive were those who could still protect their homes, access defensive tools, and safeguard their remaining supplies from desperate neighbors. However, safety is not just about keeping people away. It also involves controlling access to your own resources. Mechanical locks on warehouses, supplies, and tool collections ensure that your investments in preparation remain accessible when they are needed the most. Consider also the possibility of using deceptive security measures, cheap locks on obvious warehouses, while the real supplies are securely protected elsewhere. Multi-layered mechanical security forces intruders to make noise and waste time, increasing the risk of being caught or abandoning their intentions. The goal is not to create a fortress, but to create sufficient delays and difficulties so that random criminals switch to easier targets. Most crimes after the catastrophe are impulsive and aimed at obviously vulnerable homes. Basic mechanical safety makes you a harder target without the need for expensive systems. In point number 9, rope, cords, and fasteners. In a world after an electromagnetic pulse, rope becomes an incredibly versatile survival tool. Paracord with a strength of 550 pounds costs $12 for 100 feet and solves hundreds of problems usually handled by power tools and systems. With its help, one can strengthen shelters, create laundry lines, tie firewood, make repairs, construct carrying systems, build rope ladders, create blocks for mechanical advantage, and even unravel paracord into fishing line, aiding in the creation of protective threads or safety triggers. But paracord is just one type of cord. Different tasks require different ropes. Climbing rope for heavy ascents, general-purpose rope for common needs, thin cords for detailed work, elastic bungee straps for flexible securing, and chains for permanent safety solutions. Duct tape deserves its legendary reputation among people preparing for unforeseen situations because it replaces dozens of specialized tools and materials. She can seal holes in containers, clothing, and shelters, seal connections, mark routes, and create signs. She provides temporary loops and axes, secures items during transport, and can serve as emergency bandages or splints in medical situations. A quality roll of duct tape costs between $6 to $8 and provides solutions for various problems over several months. However, cheap duct tape quickly loses its properties, so it's worth investing in a well-known brand that maintains adhesion under stress. Cable ties quickly and reliably secure items. They are perfect for bundling supplies, making quick repairs, organizing equipment, and even as emergency restraints when safety is at risk. A pack of various ties costs between $8 and $12 and provides hundreds of fastening solutions. Wires, both electrical and mechanical, are suitable for specialized fastening tasks. With their help, one can create loops, repair metal objects, make tools, create springs and latches, as well as solve mechanical problems that ropes cannot handle. Think about how you currently use electricity for protection, fastening, or connecting things. Screw electric drills, electric staplers, hot glue guns, electric pneumatic tools. All of this becomes useless after an electromagnetic pulse. But rope, tape, straps, and manual fasteners continue to be used just as before the invention of electricity. A prepared person has various fastening options, organized and ready for use. A heavy rope is meant for serious tasks, paracord for general use, fine thread for detailed work, and duct tape for patches and sealing. Zip ties are used for quick connections, while wire is for specialized applications. However, there is also a psychological component. The ability to secure, repair, and organize your surroundings creates a sense of control when everything around seems chaotic. A simple action, like tying firewood or securing a tarp, provides you with productive tasks that boost confidence and morale. The 10th point is non-electric equipment for cooking and heating. When the power grid fails, you lose not only light and appliances, you lose heat, the ability to cook, hot water, and food preservation. However, simple non-electric alternatives solve all these problems by using energy sources that are available everywhere. Wood stoves or simple fires provide cooking and heating using fuel that is literally everywhere. Fallen branches, construction waste, yard trash, old furniture, and paper waste. All of this can be used. There are no gas pipes that can fail. There are no electric heating elements that can burn out. There are no electronic controllers that can break. But not all firewood devices are equally good. A simple campfire costs between $30 to $50 and is suitable for basic cooking and heating. The design of the rocket stove burns wood more efficiently and produces less smoke, making it more suitable for urban conditions where smoke might attract unwanted attention. Portable camping stoves using small propane canisters work well after an electromagnetic pulse if they have manual ignition systems instead of electronic starters. A simple camping stove costs between $20 to $30, and propane canisters range from $3 to $5 each. Each canister provides 2 to 4 hours of cooking time. According to data from the Energy Information Administration, more than 40% of homes in the U.S. rely on electricity as their primary source of heat. This means that almost half the country may face the risk of hypothermia without backup heating methods, especially in electromagnetic pulse scenarios. Manual coffee makers make better coffee than electric ones and work on any heat source. Dutch ovens designed for outdoor cooking can bake, roast, and stew using only fire and proper technique. Cast iron cookware is especially valued as it works on any heat source, retains heat effectively, and lasts for generations. Solar ovens are an interesting compromise. Simple models made from cardboard, aluminum foil, and black paint can heat up to 200 to 300 degrees Celsius using only sunlight. Their cost ranges from $15 to $25, and they cook food without fuel consumption. More complex commercial solar ovens cost between $100 and $200, but can handle serious culinary tasks. Thermal cooking is another technique that saves fuel and provides hot dishes. You heat the food to boiling, then place it in insulated containers, coolers, or sleeping bags, where the retained heat continues to cook for several hours. This technique allows cooking rice, beans, stews, and soups using minimal fuel. The psychological benefits of hot food cannot be overstated. Hot dishes boost morale, provide comfort, and create a sense of control over life, even in crisis situations. Cold canned food allows survival, but hot meals preserve human dignity. Without refrigerators, food safety becomes critically important. The ability to properly cook food, safely store it, and avoid contamination helps prevent diseases that can be fatal without medical assistance. Point number 11, personal hygiene and care systems. Hygiene becomes even more important in emergencies. Without modern sewage systems, treatment facilities, and waste management infrastructure, poor hygiene quickly leads to disease outbreaks that can take more lives than the disaster itself. Manual toothbrushes and regular toothpaste maintain dental health without electric brushes and compressed water systems. Dental issues can turn into serious medical problems when professional help is unavailable and antibiotics are scarce. Safety razors with replaceable blades work more efficiently than electric shavers and do not require charging. A quality safety razor costs between $15 to $20, while blades for it range from $10 to $15 for a yearly supply. Shaving cream or regular soap provides lubrication, while confident hands do the work. A bar of soap lasts longer than liquid soap, requires no dispensers or pumps, and is suitable for personal hygiene, laundry, and dishwashing. A few pieces of quality soap can satisfy all your cleanliness needs for months. Notably, Kel soap is biodegradable and suitable for everything from body washing to laundry. Washing boards cost between $15 to $20 and clean clothes more effectively than many modern washing machines. Add a large bowl, a tub, some soap, and you have a complete washing system that works without any infrastructure. However, self-care includes not just cleanliness. Nail scissors, tweezers, and basic grooming tools help prevent infections and maintain health. Long nails can become a breeding ground for bacteria. Splinters can become infected without proper removal. Minor care issues can escalate into serious health problems without proper attention. Pharmacy supplies become absolutely critical. Bandages, antiseptics, pain relievers, anti-diarrheal medications, antihistamines, and essential prescription drugs. These items are not ordinary household goods, but they are inexpensive, vital, and completely protected from electromagnetic pulses. Aspirin does not require electricity, bandages do not need batteries, and iodine works just like it did 100 years ago. The goal is to maintain health and prevent infections when professional medical help may be unavailable for weeks or months. A personal hygiene kit costing $30 with hand tools can prevent life-threatening issues during a power outage. Women's hygiene products, baby care items, and supplies for the elderly become critically important for families with special needs. These items are well stored, inexpensive, and ensure necessary hygiene, preventing more serious issues. Complex preparation and integration of resources. These 11 household items are the foundation for survival during an electromagnetic pulse, but they work most effectively within an integrated preparation strategy. Each item supports others, and together they form a complete survival system, independent of any external infrastructure. For example, your hand tools will help you build better fire pits for cooking. Ropes and fasteners will help create water collection systems. Lighting will allow safe use of tools at night. Vehicles will enable the collection of resources that other tools can process and prepare. The key understanding lies in redundancy and integration. Don't rely on just one can opener. Have 3 hidden in different places. Don't depend only on matches. Have several ways to start a fire. Don't count solely on bicycles. Have backup transportation options. But here's what I want you to understand. These household items, while important, are merely the beginning of complex preparations for an electromagnetic pulse. There are more complex strategies for protecting electronics, creating community networks, ensuring long-term food security, and building resilient systems in the absence of infrastructure, which go beyond what a single video can cover. Investments in basic household items are minimal, less than $400 for everything we discussed today. This is less than most people spend on monthly car loan payments, but it provides security in scenarios that can last months or years. Regularly practice using these tools while life goes on. Don't wait for an emergency to realize that you don't know how to effectively use a manual can opener, start a reliable fire, or perform simple repairs with hand tools. Skills are as important as equipment, and practice is required for their development. Build relationships with neighbors who have additional skills. In real emergency situations, prepared communities survive better than isolated individuals. A person with hand tools and knowledge becomes valuable to everyone around them, creating mutually supportive networks beneficial for all. The power grid is more fragile than most realize, and the threats of electromagnetic pulses are more real than many want to acknowledge. But with basic preparation, using simple household items, you can be ready for any challenges. These 11 items not only protect against electromagnetic pulses, they are resilient to natural disasters, economic crises, and future challenges. They work during hurricanes, snowstorms, earthquakes, cyber attacks, supply chain failures, or any scenarios that disrupt normal infrastructure. Choose 3 items from this list and purchase them this week. Not someday, not when you have more money, not when you get to it. This week, because the time for preparation is not when an emergency happens. It's when supplies are available and life is still normal. The question is not whether you can afford to prepare. The question is whether you can afford not to prepare. When the lights go out and do not turn back on, which side of preparation do you want to be on? What items do you already have at home? What surprised you the most? Write about it in the comments. If this video helped you realize simple preparation strategies, share it with those who might find it useful. Remember, when complex decisions fail, simple ones always win. Be prepared. Take care of yourself.